I like using myself as a guinea pig. Maybe I shouldn't have put it that way, but I like to observe myself and observe my actions and ways of thinking. And I'll tell you how and why I like this. Because at my current job right now, my boss, cool guy, laid back guy, knowing his interests, he has interest in music, and he was a drummer, he was a singer. And I'm all about music and all that kind of stuff too. So when I first started, that's where we kind of gravitated towards. That's what we kind of gravitated together when I first started. We kind of latched on to those interests, and that's where we bonded as far as a boss and an employee can bond. And, he's into, he's smoked weed before. So he's kind of like, he's kind of a hippie, but a hippie that was forced into this managerial structure in this corporate company, and I'll say he's not good at it. I'll say that he's as good as a manager can be, I guess. I don't love the idea of managers as it is. The whole makeup of a manager and the system that a manager, the system that holds a manager and stuff like that, it's just all flawed to me. I understand why it's there, but it's flawed. But anyways, for so long, I kept getting tired of being pushed to the side. That's what I felt. I felt like I was being pushed to the side. My opinions and my grievances didn't matter. And when I'd bring it up to him, he would pretend like it mattered, or maybe it did matter, but there's only so much he can do because he has someone above him as well. You know what I mean? And so he can't fix everything with the snap of a finger like I thought was possible he could do. I'm like, well, this dude's the manager. He's the leader here, and he's not doing things he should, And from that came this disconnect, and I kind of just didn't like him anymore because I see how he'll be nice to you, to your face, and pretend like he cares and say things like, I appreciate you. And part of me feels it, that he's being genuine when he says I appreciate you. But I also am from the camp where don't listen to what they say, watch what they do, and then you'll find out what their motives are and how they're really thinking and how they really are. And so his words were saying I appreciate you, but his actions were saying stay in line, do what you have to do, and don't bitch and complain about things because I can't do anything about it, And for the longest time, it would cause me to go to work with this just the dislike of him in general, and the ways that he neglects certain problems and issues in the company that I have voiced to him. And I just didn't feel like, my voice was being heard. And he's an authority figure too, also in a way, in the manager position that he's in. And I've always had a disdain for authority figures, and I still kind of do. But when you're on the consciousness path and the consciousness journey, and just I've talked about this before in many videos, just trying to be more aware as a being on this earth. You realize, everything's a mirror. And so I look at my behavioral patterns with him, and it tells me, whenever I'd go to work and I'd just not like him and try to stay away from him, and I wouldn't really be an asshole towards him, but I would kind of just avoid him. And he would also try to joke sometimes, but I just had it at some points where I was like, man, I don't even care about these jokes. How can you joke when I have legitimate problems that's going on with this company that can make things go better? You kind of neglecting this whole section of you workers back here by having this mindset, attitude, or whatever it is, where you just don't want to see things. But the further I looked into that, the further it pointed back at myself of, a problem of authority figures. Why is that? Well, growing up, my authority figures were less than stellar. And I'm still holding on, still kind of holding on to that grudge towards authority figures, And part of me just felt like I could do this whole thing better than you can. And that's egotistical in a way, even though I still kind of believe that. But when you look at his job and his position and the things he has to do, I don't want no part in that. I have no interest in being a manager. I have no interest in telling people what to do. He likes doing that kind of stuff. So in this world, you realize, take a step back from the anger and the emotions of it all. And then once you realize you're reflecting, but just to look at him again in his position and be like, well, he likes doing this kind of stuff. And there has to be a place for those type of people. Whether you agree with how they go about things or, politics of work and how they treat that and just how they favor other people in the company, all that kind of ridiculous stuff that goes on in a 9-to-5 job. Put all that aside and just realize he's doing the best he can with what he has, and it goes back to what I said when I first started the video. He's not a bad person. You know what I mean? He cares in ways, but he only cares in ways like the ways that he doesn't show. Let me try to see how I'm gonna say this. He cares, and that's obvious, but the places where he can't do much about, it's kind of like his hands are tied because he too has a boss that he has to answer to as well. And when you realize that, he's probably feeling the same way sometimes as I feel towards him. You know what I mean? And that gives you a whole new perspective on things. But also, I just want to go back about the mirror thing and reflecting. When I would go to work being pissed off at him in my mind and just kind of trying to avoid him, he felt that energy. As human beings, we feel energy. Even if we don't know what we're feeling, we know something's off. He probably felt that distant energy that I was definitely putting it off, man. I was definitely exuding that type of energy, and he was picking up on it either subconsciously or consciously. I think it's more subconsciously because he wasn't being an asshole to me, but he would also reflect that distant energy, and he wouldn't joke around and wouldn't talk. But then when I realized in myself that it's the things I don't like in him or something that's aware and awakened in me, and I need to look at that more closely. And when I do that, and when I practice forgiveness of the ways I felt towards him that were negative and hateful and not out of love, and I don't have to say a word to him if I just kind of do that all in my own mind, in my own space, my own energetic space. You go to work with a different mindset, and his mindset and his energetic field matches yours again, of like, he's more joking around with me now. I'm not even necessarily talking to him more than I have. I'm just doing my thing. But I don't have in the back of my mind, you son of a bitch, you don't take anybody's word back here, nobody cares. Like, I didn't have, if I'm not coming from that debilitatingly negative mindset, he mirrors back the mindset of, understanding and love. And that's such a beautiful thing to realize. You realize all that within yourself. You make the changes within yourself, and then the outside world changes to what you feel, man. I keep saying this, I've made videos about the whole mirroring thing, and the world shows you where you're at. The world around you is a reflection of how you are inside, being externalized. And it is so true. And when you can find ways in your life where you can see that and truly see that, it's like so freeing. You know what I mean? It's just so freeing, and I love that. I love that, and that's what I mean when I love using myself as a guinea pig, seeing the emotions I'm carrying. Why am I carrying them? Who is this being reflected on, and all this kind of stuff? Whatever problems I have, it's problems coming from within myself that I don't want to look at. And once you look at them, consciously look at them and get past them and practice forgiveness and forgiveness of self, things around you change. Those things aren't the same anymore because they're reflecting your now new inner state. And you can change that at any point in time. But how long will you let your ego harp on the negative? When will you put your ego aside? When will you put your pride aside and realize the way you're doing things and the way you're being inside yourself towards this other person or other spots in your life that you're unconscious about? When you change that, everything else changes. But you have to put that pride aside. What you're going to just sit on, you're going to just hold your pride to the side. You're going to keep your pride and just be in this negative state and like you're sacrificing your own happiness and your own well-being because of some skewed expectation of this person you have that's based on the ground that you have that same thing within you and you haven't looked at it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so freeing when you realize all of these things. So freeing. And today was such a better day because of that. We were shorthanded at this job today at work, yet I didn't let any of this get to me. Didn't let it get to me. I just took it as it came and remained in a positive mindset. And he came back there and helped and was understanding of the shorthandedness that we had, and he was just, I didn't ask for this. I've had other instances where this day was like it was another day where I had the mindset of like, fuck you, dude, I don't like you, stay away. And he would stay away, and I would get less help. But the more that I work on myself and find these things out about myself and realize that it's all coming from me, it's all coming from my state of being, my state of mind, it changes. It all changes, and it's beautiful. And when you realize it and you can see that in action and you can see it all working out for you, then you can change the things around you that you don't like, that you have never been able to change yet. Like problem with money, change your inside world on the view of money. No one helps you out. Change how you see yourself within that context. And I can go on forever. Insert any kind of problem you have with what's going on in your life, and you add that reflection of self over those problems and realize the things that you don't like about these other things in your external life are stemming from you, and you change that and watch. Just watch. It's beautiful, man. It's awesome. But yeah, that'll be all for today's video. I'm at the skate park. I'm going to go get a little skate session in. I haven't skated in a few days because I've been putting a lot of my time after work at the park, that I've been jogging around and walking my dog Elvira and just enjoying the nature. But today I'm going to go skate because I miss it. But yeah, this was an important thing that had just popped up in my head of, this is perfect to make a video on because I see it today. I love talking about and posting things that I feel and experience in my everyday life, because that's the things I can talk to you about with most conviction, But yeah, hope you all had a great day, and catch you around the next time. Peace.